we take things people have won away from them. So I'm, whether we should do it in this circumstance, I don't know.
Fallout continues after Buffy Sainte-Marie's heritage is questioned.
Are you running these online forums inciting people to run down people with vehicles or shoot them with guns? Are you doing that?
Bill C-21 and the call for stricter gun control.
Our first coffee partner for our new Indigenous to Indigenous Coffee Alliance line will be from Guatemala.
A Kanesatake coffee company partners with Indigenous growers. Good evening and welcome to APTN National News. I'm Savannah Kelly. It's well known now that a CBC story raised serious questions about the Indigenous heritage of international recording star Buffy Sainte-Marie. Some are now saying she should not be able to keep the Junos she's won as an Indigenous musical artist. Sainte-Marie has won various Junos over the years, including for Best Indigenous Album of the Year in 2018. Vancouver lawyer Jean Thayer has written and commented extensively on people adopting an Indigenous identity. Thayer believes CBC's investigation is thorough and that Sainte-Marie is not Indigenous. Here's what she had to say about retracting the artist's Juno Awards.
Well, we did it in the Olympics, right? When people cheat and we find that they've used drugs and so Ben Johnson and people like that, they take the gold medal away and then they give it to the person who came second, right? So we do it in certain circumstances. We take things people have won away from them. So I'm, whether we should do it in this circumstance, I don't know.
It's the first day of court for twin sisters Amira and Nadia Gill and Karima Manji. The three have been charged with fraud over $5,000 for claiming Inuit status. The allegations that the family used their status to gain access to funding from grants and scholarships meant for Inuit people. Joining us now is Indigenous reporter Maral Jamal, who is covering the case from Iqaluit Nunavut. Maral, thank you for taking some time to talk with us about the case today. So firstly, can you tell us a little bit about the case?
Yeah, so three Ontario women, twins Amira and Nadia Gill, and their mother Karima Manji, are facing criminal charges after being responsible for defrauding two Inuit organizations. Nunavut's RCMP charged them in September for 2 counts of fraud over $5,000. And the investigation was actually launched in April after social media users questioned Amira and Nadia's claim of Inuit identity. It's important to note here that the RCMP said that between October 2016 and September 2022, the twins applied for and obtained Inuit beneficiary status as adopted children. And this was through Nunavut Tungavik Incorporated, which is the organization representing Nunavut Inuit.
And what happened today in court?
Yeah, so today's session was anticlimactic, to say the least. The twins did not appear in court themselves, and neither was their mother, Karima Manji, present in person. Scott Cohen, who was a lawyer representing Karima Manji in particular, asked for a new court date, which is for January 8th now. And he said that he was requesting the new court date because the Gill sisters in particular do not have counsel who are Nunavut members of the bar just yet. And Cohen did say that he was in touch with Sarah White, who is the Crown prosecutor, and just requested for the new court date to be set for January 8th, which was confirmed by Nunavut's Chief Justice Neil Sharkey.
And what have you heard from Inuit advocates on this matter?
Yeah, so it is an important case for Nunavut Inuit. It is something that Inuit from Nunavut are paying a lot of attention to. And a lot of people are unhappy by the case, but also looking forward to it being brought to Nunavut's Court of Justice. And NTI in particular, which is the organization that the Gill twins registered with for their claims to Inuit identity, Aluki Kotierk, who is the president of NTI, said that at the minimum, should this case go forth, that the Gill sisters, if found guilty, should pay back the money that they claimed through their identity and through the scholarships that they were awarded by their claims to Inuit ancestry.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you very much for taking some time to discuss the case with us today, Maral.
Thank you for having me.
For more on the Gill sisters, go to our website at aptnnews.ca. We also want to hear what you think about the Gill sisters case. Here's how you can continue the conversation. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. To read and watch our stories, go to aptnnews.ca. You can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X, previously known as Twitter. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. A week after arrests by fisheries officers, Migma fishermen were back on the water exercising their treaty right to harvest lobster. But as Angel Moore reports, they're having a hard time forgetting their encounter with DFO.
This video was filmed last week by Migma fisherman Matt Cope. It shows fisheries officers boarding Cope's boat, Bethany Rose, while the Migma fishermen were harvesting lobster. The officers arrested Cope and his crew members.
For them to show such an extreme show of force and bring 20 officers out there and handcuff us and wrestle with us out there in the waters and treat us like criminals. They confiscated all the knives and fids and stuff aboard as if we were gonna like grab the knives and try to fight them or something.
Crew member Gary Denny of the Pictou Landing First Nation was there when fisheries officers demanded to inspect the lobster, and within minutes they were arrested.
They put us in handcuffs and they seized all of our lobsters. They towed us in about a mile and then released us.
Cope says during the arrest he was handcuffed and was worried about everyone's safety.
I was definitely handcuffed behind my back. The whole boat was handcuffed behind their back.
APTN News asked the Department of Fisheries and Oceans if they handcuff a person's hands behind their back while on a vessel. Dan Bate, DFO's media relations, said any fishing activity occurring without a required DFO authorization or not in compliance with conditions of a license issued under the Fisheries Act is subject to enforcement action. Cope says they do not need DFO's authorization. They are harvesting lobster under the peace and friendship treaties.
It's just a bit offensive that it's almost like you feel bullied because at one time these treaties were signed because they're peace and friendship treaties.
Martin says he is prepared to defend his rights in court.
We're still here today and we're going to continue fighting for our treaty right to fish peacefully. We'll still continue to do this.
Cope says
there's just all this pressure on Canada to implement our rights and do something with them, and they just haven't, and I just find it really frustrating.
The Department of Fisheries confirmed on October 18th and 19th, 2023, 220 lobster traps and over 1,000 pounds of lobster were seized, and that investigation is ongoing. Angel Moore, APTN National News, West Coast, Nova Scotia.
A Senate committee continued its study of the controversial gun control legislation Bill C-21 on Monday. Micmac lawyer, professor, and activist Pam Palmater was among today's witnesses in support of the bill and stricter gun control. Palmater said online hate poses a specific risk to Indigenous peoples. She said there's a direct link between hate groups and rising gun violence. She wants questions asked when people go through background checks when trying to purchase a firearm.
Are you running these online forums inciting people to run down people with vehicles or shoot them with guns? Are you doing that? Have you been accused of that? Have you committed violence against other people that might not have attracted a charge, that might have been settled? Or is there a civil suit where you've been doing those things, gun violence, threatening gun violence, and you're sued civilly but not criminally? We don't have an expansive enough kind of background check, and we don't do it at multiple stages, and it should be rechecked on an ongoing basis.
It's considered the first of its kind. McGill University is offering a new Indigenous healthcare class. The university is offering classes this fall through
these spaces where they are going to be, engaging with Indigenous patients, Indigenous participants in research. And what we're hoping is that, they might feel more comfortable entering those spaces and having, just like I said, that baseline knowledge, knowing where to start, what questions to ask, how to kind of like decolonize the spaces that they're working in.
The university is offering classes this fall through the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. The content includes understanding Indigenous health, research ethics, policies, and using public health data. We need to take a short break, but still to come, braving the cold for the 4th annual Walk a Mile in a Ribbon Skirt.
We had a lot of people here coming as equals and all showing inclusivity.
Welcome back to APTN National News. Earlier this month, Wabkanu became the first Treaty Indian Premier of a province with his party's win in Manitoba's 43rd general election. But confusion came with this distinction. A lot of people claimed he was the first Indigenous Premier for the province and the country as a whole. Well, as Sav Jonesa reports, that isn't true.
John Norquay, a Métis man, was the first Indigenous Premier in Canada when he won the Manitoba election in 1878. Not long after, Métis leader Lou Riel's provisional government brought the province into confederation. Some say Riel should hold the honorary title as the first premier for Manitoba. Outside of Manitoba, both Alberta and British Columbia have had one Indigenous premier, both with Métis ancestry. And the list gets longer as you head up north. All 6 premiers of Nunavut have been Inuit since the founding of the territory circa 1999. But the jurisdiction with the most Indigenous premiers goes to the Northwest Territories. 11 of their 13 premiers are either Inuit, Métis, or First Nation. Richard Narasu's election as NWT Premier in 1984 makes him the first First Nation Premier in Canada. The Yukon and other 7 provinces have had no confirmed Indigenous premiers, according to our research. No matter how you shake it, Wabkanu's win was historic for Manitoba and Canada, and gives hope that Indigenous people in general can be elected as mainstream political leaders. Sav Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
It was a cold day in Edmonton for the 4th annual Walk a Mile in a Ribbon Skirt. But as APTN's Chris Stewart reports, the cold did not deter those walkers who braved the weather.
Temperatures around 0 degrees Celsius. Over 100 people came to Edmonton City Hall to walk a mile in a ribbon skirt. The event's goal is to offer a safe space for the LGBTQS people and to show the importance of ribbon skirts to non-Indigenous peoples. Catherine Swampy is a community advocate volunteer for the walk, which featured speakers and world champion hoop dancer Dallas Arcand.
We talk about what it means to us and how significant it is, and we share it with those who don't understand Indigenous culture so that they get a really good taste and feeling and participate. We'll share and gift them a ribbon skirt so that at next Indigenous events they'll have something that they can wear and cherish.
She was impressed with the turnout on a cold and windy afternoon. Edmonton's Mayor Amarjeet Sohi and Alberta Indigenous Relations Minister Rick Wilson were in attendance.
A lot of people who are new to Canada came to learn and engage, and they really enjoyed the teachings of the ribbon skirt, and they also came and walked the cold mile with us, and we made it back and we're still intact, so that's great.
Then the walk began. 1 mile around downtown Edmonton, young and old alike. People of many different cultures coming together to celebrate the ribbon skirt and walk in harmony. Chevy Rabbit is the co-organizer.
But overall, this was a great event. We had gender diverse, we had the Two-Spirit, we had patriarchs, we had matriarchs, we had a lot of people here coming as equals and all showing inclusivity and that it matters, that we all have a role and that we're all valued and respected.
Jackie Rabbit told APTN that there is still work to do to have everyone treated with respect.
As a transgender woman, you can really not speak about what you've been through at these past events because of people judging, people hating, calling you names, and there's so much that goes on in this world that needs to change for our Two-Spirit people. So being here really means a lot to me.
Chevy Rabbit says next year's walk will be a little earlier in the year for better weather. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
The Yukon government is investing around $300,000 into a pilot project to increase safety in downtown Whitehorse. Nations will soon launch a mobile downtown outreach initiative similar to Winnipeg's Bear Clan Patrol. The service will be operated by the council and staffed by Yukon First Nations outreach workers. A mobile outreach vehicle will stop at various sites in downtown Whitehorse to assist those in need. The pilot will operate after hours and on weekends and will run until March 31st, 2024. Council of Yukon First Nations Executive Director Shadell Chambers says it will take a multi-pronged approach to tackle community safety.
We know many of our Yukon First Nations and Indigenous people have legacy issues and trust issues with RCMP and government services. So we wanted to create a community-based grassroots initiative to help support people where they're at, and mostly around the vulnerable and marginalized populations in the downtown Whitehorse core.
We need to step aside for one final break. Weather and our photo of the day are coming up. Plus, a connection that is not only about marketing coffee, but also sharing cultures.
I've been learning the ropes from my father and just trying to learn everything about the entire roasting process, right to the packaging.
Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. This stunning photo was taken by Rosanna Narciss under a star-filled sky as seen from the rolling hilltops in the city of Merritt, British Columbia. Thank you for sharing that, Rosanna. If you'd like to be our next photo of the day, send your photos to share@aptn.ca and then tune in each night. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Starting off on the east coast, we've got 6 degrees and rain in Halifax, Fredericton 5 degrees. Kuujjuaq -7 and sunshine, Nain -3. Val-d'Or, snow, -1, Chibougamau, -3. Toronto, 6 degrees, North Bay, snowy and 0 degrees. Kapuskasing, -1 and sunshine, Wawa, 0 degrees. Churchill, -2 and snowy there, Puckatawagan, -2 and snow, also. Winnipeg, -5 and sunshine, Barons River, snow, 0 degrees. Regina, -2, Saskatoon, partially cloudy, 1 degree. Stony Rapids, snowy and -4, Buffalo Narrows, snowy, 2 degrees. 0 degrees in Peace River, Grand Prairie, 3 degrees and sunshine. Calgary, 4 degrees and sunshine there, Edmonton, 6 degrees. Tofino, rainy, 12 degrees, Campbell River, sunny, 9. Fort Nelson, 3 degrees, Prince George, 3 degrees, mostly sunny. Mayo, -5 there, Rock River, -3. Fort Simpson, -3 and snowy, Wrigley, snowy, -3 as well. Colville Lake, -3 and sunshine, Sax Harbor, snowy, -7. Baker Lake, -8 and snowy there, Chesterfield, -4. Igloolik, -12, snowy there, Arctic Bay, -11. Moccasin Joe Coffee Roasters serves up its cups of Java in the Mohawk community of Kanesatake and has just launched a new line focused on sourcing coffee from 100% Indigenous-owned farms. The company has also made the majority of its packaging more environmentally friendly. Maricela Amador has more.
Our roasts are between 13 to, let's say, 15, 16 minutes.
Julie Ann David is carrying on the family legacy of roasting artisanal coffee.
That's how you do your smell test.
David, along with her brother Mike, have taken over Moccasin Joe Coffee Roasters.
These are off beans, and a lot of times these are unripe.
A company their father, Walter David, started in the community 17 years ago.
I'm taking over roasting. I pretty much it's going on a year soon. I've been learning the ropes from my father and just trying to learn everything about the entire roasting process right to the packaging, and next it'll be learning how to source the coffee.
Now, the siblings are on a mission to not only expand the company, but also to partner up with other Indigenous coffee farmers and producers around the world.
Our first coffee partner for our new Indigenous to Indigenous Coffee Alliance line will be from Guatemala. It's the CCDA. Actually, we're hosting the founder today at our new roastery, so it's pretty exciting.
The Campesino Committee of the Highland, or CCDA, is an indigenous organization in Guatemala that supports indigenous farmers and rural populations by improving their quality of life. During a visit to Moccasin Joe's new roasting facility, Leocadio Huracan, a Capchiquel Maya farmer with the CCDA, said that this new partnership was both significant and strategic. He highlighted the importance of First Peoples coming together.
Una conexión que no solo se trata de comercializar café, sino también de compartir cultura, compartir lo que nosotros somos, lo que nosotros sabemos y nuestra visión hacia la humanidad, nuestra visión cosmogónica para la sociedad, para la búsqueda de justicia social y sobre todo para que se respete la naturaleza, la madre tierra.
The new line was inspired when the siblings realized that there weren't many indigenous-owned coffee farms in source countries.
This new line is really just to build out, hopefully, a supply chain of more indigenous ownership. We kind of see the whole supply chain from coffee farmer to importers to producers to roasters and beyond.
There we go. This is actually the Guatemalan CCDA coffee.
Maricela Amador, APTN National News, Kanesatake, Quebec.
A castle in Romania that is said to be the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula, the 19th century novel, is proving to be a popular tourist attraction this Halloween season. Record numbers have turned out to tour the 14th century Bran Castle in picturesque Transylvania, and it seems visitors are enjoying the experience.
We decided to come here because it's a Dracula Castle, so we read a lot about it in internet, and we are doing like our own road trip in Transylvania.
We had seen some pictures and stuff prior to coming, but after being here, it was fantastic for my family and kids, and we had a wonderful time.
On Saturday alone, 9,000 people visited the medieval fortress, setting a new record. Very cool stuff there. Well, that's all the time we have for your Monday news. For news anytime, head on over to our website at aptnnews.ca. I'm Savannah Kelly, Marcy, Miigwech. Thank you for joining us. Take care and have a great night.